Hi everyone. I am going to talk briefly today about what we have left in our course in terms of our tasks in the calendar, and then talk a little bit about some of the concepts that we're working through, performance management primarily, as well as orientation onboarding. So probably a 12 to 15 minute video. So if you take a look at our Brightspace page and we have our calendar, you're finishing up the discussion post for this weekend for our last unit, which was all about selection and interview design. And you're sharing with me interview tips and best practices. Always remembering that selection and interviewing always has to be legally defensible. Strive to be as unbiased as possible, create an inviting atmosphere where we're employer branding and building on our reputation, building relationships every opportunity we have when we meet candidates, as well as structuring interviews that are very relevant and align with the job description. And nothing asked of a candidate that would be inappropriate or unrelated to the job. So we've kind of covered that unit. The projects were really well done. And now we're just finished the quiz. So we're getting into the last unit. So performance management, you have the assignment coming up, which is a graphic rating scale. I'm going to discuss that in a minute. That's due on the 7th. And the quiz is open until the 11th, so that will be wrapped up. And then we'll be talking about orientation, more on performance. The last discussion is on compensation and benefits. I did not put an assignment in for that, but rather the discussion post and some questions on your final test, which is due by the 19th. Also due by the 19th is the discussion self-evaluation. There's a rubric. You just go on, look at the criteria, decide what grade you feel you earned out of 10 based on that rubric, and tell me what grade you earned. And typically, I always can cross-reference that you did create threads, you did respond, and you were active on discussions. But for the most part, I trust your judgment on what grade you feel you have earned. So please remember to do that. It's an easy way to kind of gain your points based on your level of contribution. So that's our calendar. And of course, if you have any questions or need help with any of those topics or concepts, reach out by email, preferably. So the second thing I wanted to talk about, so the calendar, is the assignments. So if we click on, I'm sharing my screen with you. The assignment 3 about performance management is you're creating a graphic rating scale based on the same job description we used from the project, the administrative assistant position with the town of Pleasantville. And there is some information in the chapters and in Revel about graphic rating scales, but I've encouraged you to do your own research and Google it, which I have done and can show you my screen. So if we go to my screen, sorry, I just need a minute I've got too many things open. There we go. If you Google graphic rating scale and I clicked images, you will quickly see quite a few pop up. They are usually visual, quite simplistic. You can certainly make the descriptive levels, the performance levels more descriptive, meaning, if you're assessing how well they do business correspondence, minutes, reports, memos, all of that. You can say more than just business correspondence. You can make that more descriptive, more behaviorally descriptive. So, that the employee does an exceptional job preparing the business correspondence, checking for edits and errors, and having them done in advance, right? Like that's one of the descriptors that you could include. A lot of students will just use the exact same language from the job description and use those in the performance dimension, work dimension. So that's one sample. Here's one thing I want to point out that I often critique when I'm marking. These two categories, fairly poor, fairly good, good. I would never use those because sometimes they're too similar. Fairly good, good. How do you discern between the two? I'd really think about what terms you use and that they are very clear and distinct from one another so that it is very evident what earns a score of 4 versus a score of 5. Same as like poor and unsatisfactory, they are basically synonymous. So choose one and be very clear with your ratings. Here's another sample: unsatisfactory, questionable, satisfactory, outstanding. Questionable is a word I would never choose. I would suggest considering average, and then I would take out, or just satisfactory and take it out altogether so that you just have 3. There's unsatisfactory, satisfactory, and outstanding, or below average, average, and excellent, or something like that. Sometimes you'll see visual metrics, on a Likert scale, or on a sometimes like happy faces. There's one right here. Same on a scale, and you can have it a little bit more visual. So there's lots to choose from. If you Google ideas, this will just give you some inspiration. Cross-reference it with the HR theory that we're learning from the textbook about making sure we have strong behavioral statements, descriptive statements about the kind of performance you're looking for and what a candidate would have to do to achieve the best. Add the name of the employee, the name of the position, who is doing the evaluation, which would be typically the manager, the date. It's often good to have a comment section as well as signatures, which usually make a document somewhat more valid. And remember, please, your APA cover page, properly formatted, and always a reference page, even if your only reference is the textbook. Okay, so that takes me through that piece. The last piece I want to share is talking a little bit about performance management. And ultimately, performance management is that you give your employees a job description. You've hired them, you've brought them into the fold, you've oriented them and onboarded them. Hopefully you've done a lot of socialization practices with your employees. They've felt warmly welcomed and included. They've got their job description. They probably have done their payroll statements and tax information. Really spent a good couple of weeks orienting your new employees. It's one of the number one things that employers don't do. They don't have a strong orientation. People are kind of just throwing in. But let's assume you've done a really good job. You've oriented them well, onboarded them, and they've been working now for, let's say, 3 to 6 months. At some point, the management team should be assessing how performance is going. Are your employees meeting expectations? Are they achieving the outcomes and getting the job done? It's the second thing, kind of top 2 things, that people in management roles often allow to go by the wayside. They don't do orientation well, or they don't do performance management well. In a really busy, stressful organization, they're the 2 easiest balls to drop, so to speak, because there's so much going on that demands your attention. But they are 2 of the most fundamental aspects of HR that keep people productive, engaged, empowered, and retained within the organization, right? For retention. So performance management should be done. The type of performance management, there's all kinds of different tools and resources. Some people focus on goal setting. Other people focus on strengths and employee success. The old school models were more based on punitive, like what are you doing wrong and this needs to be corrected. That's not really best practice today. Best practice is, more strengths-based and empowering-based, setting goals, as well as acknowledging, weaknesses and challenges that need to be addressed. So this is a quick visual of the process. It's all outlined in your text in Revel. So the first thing is you have to clearly define what you're asking your employees to do so that they know how they will be evaluated. It can't just be a surprise. So setting those expectations and setting goals. For a new employee, they spend the first 3 to 6 months getting oriented, building up clientele, building relationships, whatever the systems are. So that should all be outlined, what you expect as their manager, supervisor, coach, and what the job description requires. This is your job. These are your duties. These are the expectations, and these are the kinds of targets we have laid out, if it's a sales target or a client target or whatnot. The next step is the ongoing coaching, feedback, interaction. Often gets missed. People know they've got to do an annual performance appraisal or evaluation or biannual evaluation, and then that's the first time performance gets talked about. But if you're doing best practice, you've set the expectations, you've set a little bit of a timeline. The employee knows that in 3 to 6 months there will be a checkpoint. They know what they're working on and what they're working toward. You're checking in frequently, as much as can be done. How's it going? Are you struggling with something? Is there something I can help with? Or setting up a mentor. So if a manager can't do it, another employee who's got a little more experience can coach and guide and direct and support. And then the actual appraisal evaluation process, however often that's done, at least annually, where it's an official meeting and you sit down and you fill out the graphic rating scale or whatever tool your organization has adopted. You go through, you have open, courageous conversations, respectful conversations about what's working, what's not working, and how to improve. If things need to be improved, then you should definitely set new targets, new expectations, new goals. It kind of circles back to the first step. Or maybe this is when bonuses and rewards are being implemented based on strong performance. Every organization would be different. And it's also a time to set career goals and talk about career development and the sort of career trajectory that your employee has with the organization. That goes back to Chapter 9. Part of retention is helping employees see there is a path for you here. You can continue to develop and grow as an employee here. We want to support growth. Do you have educational goals, aspirations? Is there, maybe another role you would like to try out or be mentored in? Is there some upgrading you'd like to do? Of course, these things are all contingent on how much budget the organization has and all of that. But really strong HR practices are thorough conversations about expectations of performance, how performance is evaluated, once it's evaluated, what the new goals become, and then the ongoing discussion of growing your employees for the long term. So that's overall what that chapter is about. And as I wrap up this brief sort of lecture, I want you to kind of anchor yourself in understanding how these things flow, right, in HR. So we have spent a considerable amount of time understanding the legislation to make sure our organizations abide by the Constitution and all of the required legislation, employment equity, human rights, all of that. That is beyond doing what's legal, it's also doing what's ethical. Then we moved into, now we need to recruit and select employees. And there's a lot of pieces to make sure we hire right, the right fit, the right person, and that we put a lot of emphasis into that to save time and money and resources later if we have firing, termination, reprimands to do. So selection's huge. Then we spend time really orienting and getting that employee solid in their job, their duties, their role, socialized, mentored, supported, included, because they will be content and engaged. Then we make sure that we ongoingly coach and manage the performance of our employees so that they stay connected, stay engaged, and always know what is expected of them and feel like they have someone rooting for them. And then, of course, we pay them appropriately and we get into the other topics, which I won't talk about on this today. So that's where we are in the course. We're almost to the end zone, couple weeks left to go. I hope things are going well. I can't stress enough, if you need support, you want to chat, reach out by email. I can book a Teams call. I can talk with you on the phone, and hopefully you can stay connected to me that way. That's all for today. Have a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to seeing your assignments on Sunday, the 7th. Bye for now.